No giveaway.
Hey!
Hey.
Hey, and welcome to this summer 2020. What a weird year it sure has been. This is our 2020 State of the Imaginary Legion, and Melissa and I are here really excited to tell you all about where we've been with all of our shows, where we're going with all of our shows, and of course, the fun stuff that we have over at Patreon and all that. So please check those things out. We'll get into that. There's a couple specific things that I feel like we really need to address, Melissa.
Yeah, we're gonna start with, not sure if anybody noticed. We hope you did. We shut down
We've been gone. We took some time.
collectively as of the very beginning of June. We all know that 2020 has been literally the weirdest year that has ever existed in, centuries or something like that. But we had a major tragedy hit very close to home. Um, Not your average Joe from the Fights and F Words podcast. We lost him on May 31st. Officially, it was like right at midnight going into the morning of May 31st. We lost him in the family. So, I mean, as you guys know, Abby's our sister. That was her husband. It was literally like family function. We'd all been together. And the family kind of shut down because that's a major blow. It's a huge hole in our hearts and space. So we shut down. We kept it very quiet around here. I don't know what else to say because it was pretty awful.
It was tough. It was tough. I'm feeling it more right now than I thought I was going to.
Yeah, it's not good.
But I will say, after I take a second here, the outpouring
Of love and support
it's been
from
incredible.
everybody
It's been incredible.
here. I mean, it's shocking to me. We set up a GoFundMe for Abby. Not sure, those of you who are aware, Joe is a veteran. He was a Marine for 11 years, and he just recently got his medical discharge with 100% disability with PTSD and traumatic brain injuries. And it was a PTSD TBI related suicide that happened. And I mean, the GoFundMe that we set up, it's been ridiculous. There's so many of you who have donated and helped out Abby and her kids, and it absolutely shocked us. We had some of you even were able to come to the funeral service, which was amazing and quite frankly fantastic because I finally got to meet some of you. It was great. Like to the point where the first one there was Sanrixian and I knew her right away. I'm like, I know you. Come here. Come
You're a
talk to me.
person. I know you. You're
You belong
mine.
to us. Come here.
You belong with us.
So it was
It's been special.
overwhelming, and we are so lucky to be part of this community with all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, people have reached out in way more ways than we would have anticipated. I mean, we knew we had great friends, but it's unfortunate that sometimes a tragedy like this, it shows even more. So, but we feel it, and it's funny that tonight we're talking about a book of crazy fans. So stay tuned for more on that. Our number one fans. That's a little plug for we're doing Floats Down Here Misery right after the Stephen King. So check that out. Probably starting around 8 o'clock.
So anyway, we took a break because we weren't able to have quite conversations about anything else. We're attempting tonight, so good luck to us. And with that, we're going to move on. I'm going to start by first shouting out and then apologizing to our imaginary patron Legion. Again, because of the world that is crazy, you have been neglected, and we apologize.
We sincerely feel bad about it.
Yes. First of all, because I absolutely am terrible and haven't mailed out the last giveaway, so that's on me. That's ridiculous. So we've got a couple of things in the back burner. I think I'm finally running out of my weekly update posts of old notes. I have to fill those out. I had a bunch of them saved up, but I think it's finally getting to the very end there. So I'm gonna have to jump on there and get that going. We are going to do our next giveaway. We have the items, we just don't have the official like drawing, if you will. I might sit and click for a little bit while Luke talks about some other stuff if he's ready for that. But before we get to that, we had crazy in our world. Guess what?
The world
also,
had even more crazy to add to 2020.
and we noticed, and in particular, the last 3 or 4 weeks,
yes,
there's been some major things that have happened that both Luke and I individually have felt, man, we have to talk about this. But given our personal tragedy, we're just not in a place to be able to do that. So, Luke, you kind of had a spiel you wanted to go through on that.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I have anything prepared. I feel like a lot of things have been productively said about all of the things associated with George Floyd, all the things associated with Black Lives Matter, all the things associated on everything to do with that, all of the other instances of police brutality. I mean, here in 2016, I mean, Ferguson, Missouri is, I mean, like right there. So we were right in the heart of a lot of the Michael Brown stuff as well. So this isn't new for us. I mean, obviously, we are very aware that we don't live that way. We don't have to live in fear of police brutality or stereotyping of any sort from authority figures in that way, but we're very aware of it, and we just want you to know we fully support you. We are here with you. If there's anything we can do, we're going to use our voice for a positive influence in this asset, in this turmoil time. And I think it's really important for people who do have a voice, even though ours is tiny, to use it in the way that we can. We can do whatever we can to make it a productive thing moving forward and keep the conversation going, because it's easy for this to also, like hundreds of other cases, thousands of other cases, be swept underneath the rug and forgotten about, and things don't change. And that's not okay. It's just not okay. Right along with that, we also, and I can't add a whole bunch more to it that hasn't been said by people who are much more in tune and much more aware
Eloquent.
and affected by it. But just know that we won't forget. Another thing, J.K. Rowling had to kind of let down her fans in many ways, as she's been doing quite a bit lately, is specifically against the trans gender community. And we just wanted to point out that if you are gay, if you are a lesbian, if you are transgender, if you are non-gender, if you are anything that falls under the LGBTQIA+ umbrella, this is a safe place for you. It always will be. We support you. And yeah, this has been a pretty heavy episode already. But I think it's, again, important to know that we are here for people. We are here for stories. And if you have hate in your heart towards somebody, we don't want you here. Please leave. You're really not welcome. And if you have a big voice like J.K. Rowling, just shut the fuck up. Like, just keep it to your goddamn self, because you're fucking wrong. And that's about all I can say on that.
Ditto.
So there's plenty more things to say, plenty more crazy things going on, but we support you as people. You're all welcome. And we're glad you're here.
Okay. I feel heavy.
It feels very heavy. Should we lighten up?
Yeah, let's lighten up. Let's go to our shows. We have some.
We have shows, and people have probably noticed the whole name change to Drawbridge Media. Let me close this so I don't get that beeping sound from Slack again. But I don't do that close. That didn't close. But we have transitioned all of our YouTube channels to be a single entity. We've taken the podcast that must be named, the podcast that floats down here, the podcast that roles plays and games. All of them have consolidated to what used to be known as the podcast that drinks and knows things, or drinks and knows things on YouTube. And this is what Drawbridge Media is. It's the consolidation of all of the shows that we've been working on it's been a lot. And if you've only seen us on one channel, you might be like, wow, they don't put out a lot of content, but we are feeling like we're dying. So this has been kind of an attempt of consolidating things so it's easier to find. And so the first show I want to talk about is the podcast that must not be named, kind of our mothership, our what kicked us all off, Melissa and I, into all of this stuff that it's turned into. So it's our Harry Potter show. If you're not familiar with it, we during COVID-19 have been re-releasing all of our original episodes, which I think I'm actually way behind on now because we took some weeks off. So I think we finished book 2. We're going to continue that and I'm going to schedule book 3 to start releasing here shortly. So if you haven't ever heard our podcast on Harry Potter, it's Melissa and I, spoiler free for the most part, going chapter by chapter. You can imagine when you've read a book 150 times, and very likely way more than that, it's kind of tough sometimes to stay spoiler free, but I think it's given us a really unique challenge to speak about the things in depth within a certain chapter that normally, if you just had the full canon to work with, you might miss. So I think that's been a really neat experience. One, it's fun talking to Melissa. She's one of my favorite people in the whole world, and she's brilliant.
I'm okay.
I'm a fan. Good enough. And
The goal is just to be okay.
If we can hit okay, I'm okay with that. So that has been re-releasing. Currently in recording, we're actually, like if you listened on the actual podcast, whatever your podcast catcher is, we're in the middle of book 5. Just past a quarter way through book 5, getting close to halfway through. So we're kind of in 2 mental spaces with those. But we encourage you to check those out. There's a whole playlist for all of the podcasts that must not be named on our Drawbridge Media channel. Check those out. We appreciate it. Leave comments. We appreciate. I know Nancy T's been checking almost all of them out, so we get comments from her pretty often. That makes my heart warm every time I see one, just like a warm blanket. So, Melissa, you would tell people what we're doing with Floats Down Here.
Yeah, so I took that over, sort of. Basically, I got really bossy. We started the show because our brother Benji really wanted to read it because he's a horror movie buff. And unbeknownst to Luke, who had never read it or had really nothing to do with it, I have been a huge Stephen King fan since I was 15 years old. So we took Luke under our wing, and after doing an entire chapter by chapter, and sometimes even just parts of chapters by chapters read through of it, we decided that that was a little much to go take 2 years to read a single Stephen King book. And so we're doing a book a month club. We are, after tonight, we will be halfway through with our 2020 Stephen King book club. We've read Carrie and Pet Sematary and The Shining and Salem's Lot, and I'm missing one. Why am I missing one?
Shining. So Carrie.
Said Shining.
Shining. Salem's Lot was second.
Cujo.
Cujo.
That was the other one.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I missed Cujo. And then, so we get on, we talk about them, we read the whole thing in each month. We talk about the whole book once a month. We're doing Misery tonight, which is exciting. And then next month we'll be doing Needful Things. Then we jump into like Gerald's Game and Dolores Claiborne. We're going to do Insomnia. So there's a lot going on. It's supposedly the first Monday of the month, roughly first or second. We're a little off now, but we'll be back on track shortly. But tonight is Misery, so stick around for that.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. It's.
I know. I think it's going well too. Like this kind of stuff with it.
Yeah, I think those episodes are getting good. It was tough transitioning to going from chapter by chapter, even like episode by episode, to an entire book discussion. Like that's, as you can imagine, when you're not used to it, and we all talk too much. That's common. If you've seen anything from this channel, we like to talk. So it's been good. It's been a fun challenge, and I think they are hitting their strides. And it's cool reading an author, multiple books from the same author in a row, and having other people right there with you, because then we can kind of riff off that of, hey, I can see things that he's pulling from these other books. And we're doing it fairly chronologically too. Not every single book, but every book we're doing is in order of when he wrote them. And so
Yes,
it's
that
neat
was
to see
done.
them kind of build on each other, and ideas from one make it to the other one, names from everything, you get crossover. So it's been good, and they're not too scary. They're really not. They're not
No,
too bad.
they're more psychological than
Yeah.
like scary jump scare bad guy.
Oh, for sure. So right along with that, our other monthly book cast, our monthly book club, is our Boozy Book Club, which is the podcast that gets lit, where me and Bailey Riddle of Hogwarts Radio fame go through and do more of a, instead of Stephen King, a more YA, young adult slash sci-fi slash fantasy type book. And again, we're behind on that one as well, because that was supposed to be at the very end of last month. Things got pushed. But we will be doing, I think, next Monday, Walk on Earth, A Stranger, which I had Melissa read as well. I don't think she's going to join us for the episode unless she really, really wants to.
I am happy to if you need me to,
We'll see.
guys.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty good book though. I'm excited about it. We did Mistborn. I know we've got some Terry Pratchett coming up. We did some Sarah J. Maas as well. So we've covered a decent variety of things already, which is also really fun, and a whole nother book every month. So we do have the whole list for both of our book clubs, our monthly book clubs, on our website. So check that out. I don't have the links in this description here, so sorry. Check out thepodcast.com and just click around for a while. We appreciate the clicks.
So we have two other shows that exist-ish.
Yeah, we've got plenty of other things that sort of have a thing.
You guys, a lot of you are here because of the Drinks and Nose show, which is on indefinite hiatus just because there's no show currently. I know there are plans in the works, but again, life happens, and 2020 has not been the most normal of years. So we're just going to keep that on hold for a while.
Yes, yep. But I know we've teased some of it before, like our role-playing game for basically a tabletop style game called A Game of Ice and Fire. This was actually played back in 2017, so it's a little dated, but the gameplay is still fun, and it's still a good time. So I'm still working on those videos, and they will be out. And we still have plans for Gertie's Revenge to come by at some point and have her get her rebuttals and jabs back for being forced to be a first-time watcher for so long. So those are fun things that we're planning on.
And then, of course, we have our show, the podcast that fights in F words, which at this point, it's the Outlander show. Life has been kind of crazy anyway, and so that's always been hit or miss. And right now, it's just kind of on hold because we lost Joe. So,
right.
As much as we would love to get them up and running, it's not always necessarily going to be the easiest one to do right now.
Yeah. We'll keep in touch, and of course, we've had a couple things here and there for the vodcast that Rolls Plays and Games, which is just a video game playing. I'd like to get into more board games if we can record us playing Risk, because I tell you, you get enough Hogans in one room playing Risk, and it is, it is rough.
You're also going to need some subtitles because we talk over each other. It's so bad.
I feel like everyone should have like a phone like recording directly them, and so like you can like have the different feeds go. Well, we have ideas. We have ideas. So, and we've got people scrape. Oh, that's the thunder. I thought it was
thunder.
Okay.
Yeah, like I already lost my power today.
I'm under a boil order. I found out after I was drinking like gallons of water today.
Why not? Where are those murder hornets at?
Yeah, it's just that time of the calendar.
I guess. So anyway, here we are. So board games, then you guys would also get to see Beer Hog because Matthew's hysterical, but doesn't necessarily do the fandom things that we do. So he's really fun. Something else that we really have to get started like a lot is the podcast that drinks juice boxes and knows things.
Oh yeah,
which we have to do that. So that's
little kids, our children, cousins,
my youngest,
and so yeah. Clovis, who's very well known in the Drinks and Knows Things community, was there on like episode 1 of our show, and his cousin. They want to watch some of the Game of Thrones episodes, and we'd be pretty specific about which ones.
Right, like Hard Home.
Hard Home would be great. battle at
My
the
son has
wall.
seen pretty much the entire season 8 because I mean there's hardly anything. My rule is no naked, so there's very little naked in there. I just fast forward through that one part and then we're good.
Right. Yep.
So
But so yeah, they want to watch that, and I'd love to record them either reaction video. I think might be the easiest, might be the most
that
exciting. So we'll see. I think we can make that happen here pretty soon. So we might be able to
yeah.
throw some other kiddos into that too, just to make it even
Yeah, because
more.
we have a gaggle now.
We've got a whole extra group now. So
It is.
um,
It's huge.
yeah, and there's plenty of other things that we have going on, but
I just have to laugh. AK in the chat says it's the tiny human drawbridge media.
right, yeah. Drawbridge Kids, and don't think that's not also a thing potentially in the works. So,
Right.
oh, what
I have drawings.
you have drawings?
Did it. I looked up all of our current patrons from the Imaginary Legion who, thank God, are still with us. We apologize.
Yes, seriously, thank
for
you
the
guys.
delay.
And you can learn more about this, so you can get in the next drawing at patreon.com/stayimaginary. We have really cool things. We try not to miss them. We're just behind this once. Sorry.
Yes, we're a little behind. I like the drawings. The drawings are good. We're gonna ship stuff out. So we have two options for the winner. The winner
I'm
can
gonna
either choose.
hide my video and go run and get them, and you tell them all about it.
Great. I only remember what one is, so run fast. Here he goes. Okay, so one of them is a really nice metal cup that has a Harry Potter. I think it's the titles of all of the books. It's been a while since I bought it. So that's one of the options. And the other option is a candle. I don't really remember what it is. I will tell you guys while I'm sitting here talking to myself, which is not at all weird. My daughters and I want to do the podcast That Venturous Fearful Discussions, which is our Lemony Snicket series of unfortunate events show. That is something that we're hoping to get up this summer since we've been home for a very long time. So that's something that I think would be really interesting. My two girls would like to do that. And, you know, a whole bunch of teenage attitude would be really fun to watch too. To watch, not to live with, but that's okay. Oh, do I hear him coming? Maybe not. He's still there. All right, so we've got Luke back. Hello,
Almost.
Luke.
I'm here. I'm almost here.
You're here. All right.
There I am. All right.
And go for it. What do you got? That's right. It's a clock, right? I was wrong.
It's a clock. It is a balloon clock. It says you'll float down here.
That's even better.
Ooh. Ah, very cool. It's a classic analog display. It uses one AA battery. So there you go. You know it's good.
And quite frankly, kids need to learn to read a clock.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
And
Soapbox.
the other item.
This one I remember.
Let's see if I can get the light to shine on there. I think they can see that.
You got it.
Boom. Classic Tervis style cup with all of the kind of the one-word Harry Potter titles from all of the books on there. So, ooh, fancy. All right, so you have our full list of contenders.
In my very fancy way of doing it, I have them folded into pieces of paper.
Ooh, this is
I'm
really
just
high
that
tech.
Here we go. I'm shaking. I'm not looking, and I'm gonna just pick this one. And it says, Steph from work.
Steph from work. Congratulations. You will have
Congratulations.
your choice of the floats down here. You'll float to clock or the Harry Potter Tervis style mug. And
$10 if she picks the Harry Potter mug.
I can 1,000% guarantee that's what it's going to be. But yeah, I work with her. I'll get in touch with her. I can just message her right now on Teams. So
And we can save on shipping, which is our downfall. Big fan.
Absolutely. So congratulations, Steph. I know you'll be very ecstatic to have even more ridiculous Harry Potter stuff because you have quite the merch collection. That is absolutely true.
Awesome. Okay, I think that's all. I have hit everything on my list.
I think the only other thing show-wise that I didn't talk about was Tapping Knowledge, which hasn't really even officially been announced. So I'm going to announce it right now. It's kind of the craft brewing and distilling show that I'm starting, and I plan on eventually getting into recording some of my homebrew experiences and things like that, because I know every time I have a homebrew beer on, I know Alicia Kingston's just champing at the bit to get some of it. So I think it'd be fun to do some walkthrough type videos, and I've currently been doing an interview series with some small craft breweries here in St. Louis, mostly focused on how COVID has affected all of their business. Again, things have been pushed, so it's a little out of date as things are kind of opening up back here in St. Louis, at least, whether it should or not. They need the business, so I'm happy that they can keep their doors open. So look for that to be dropping here soon too, and that is Tapping Knowledge. I think that's the only thing that I've really got. It's been real.
Yeah. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna eat some more French fries, and then we'll be back in 10 minutes for Misery.
Yeah,
Stick
yeah.
around.
Please join us. I know DA said he was going to drop the link for it, so if you can, please do that now. It's not going to be this exact stream, but it will be. You can also find it on our channel. It's in our scheduled streams. So if we ever have something scheduled,
One channel.
it should be right because they're all on one channel. Yeah, yeah.
Woo!
Now I got to find a button to click. But seriously, thank you guys so much for being here. It means a lot. We appreciate all the support. It's been amazing for us to
Thank
be
you
able to
for
go
being our
away.
people from the internet.
Yeah, yeah, and it was fun explaining that to people at Joe's ceremony. So how do you know these people? They're from the internet. They came from the internet. They got a flight in. We downloaded them at home and printed them out.
Wreck-It Ralph style.
Exactly. So seriously, thank you all for the support and for being here. We do appreciate everyone that has agreed to be an Imaginary Legion patron. It's very cool. It's very fun, and we appreciate you guys helping us keep these fancy lights on that I can sit here and dim if I turn the boom. I can do that because you guys paid for these lights. It's really cool. So thank you guys all so much, and do check out patreon.com/stayimaginary. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to our channel here. Check out all our shows on your favorite podcatcher, iTunes, Stitcher, whatever, iHeartRadio. I think we're on all of them. If you're not there, let us know. Leave us comments all over the place. We appreciate it. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, stay imaginary.
Thanks.